Hello and welcome to our project for the Summer/Fall 2022 Computer Science Capstone at Portland State University. My name is Ian Wasson and I am the team lead for Portland Aid Guide, formerly known as Available Aid. Working with me on this capstone is Zachary Chronister, Dan Jang, Matthew Pickett, James Ressler, Saeed Sarwari, Yusin Soon, and Timothy Young. Our sponsors are John Siebert and Gabby Thillier, who represents the Blanchet House. Their mission statement is to alleviate suffering and offer hope for a better life by serving essential aid with dignity. A quick summary of our project, Portland Aid Guide, aims to provide a web platform that is both cohesive and mobile-friendly, and is easy to navigate for all users regardless of technological familiarity and knowledge. Specifically, we want to help our users find shelters within the Portland-Politan area. A quick summary of our project, Portland Aid Guide, aims to provide a web platform that is both cohesive and mobile-friendly, and is easy to navigate for all users, regardless of technological familiarity and knowledge. Specifically, we want to help our users find shelters within the Portland metropolitan area.
Warm greetings to all those watching. My name is Dan, and I'm happy to demonstrate our Capstone project for you today, the Portland Aid Guide project and web platform. This is our live testing page of the Portland Aid Guide. We can see that our front page is clean and straightforward, and we see an inviting web page with a search functionality button that will be easy to use and mobile friendly. Upon clicking search, we are greeted with a variety of different accommodations, options, and choices to ensure that the user is able to find a shelter that can meet their specific needs. After selecting our options, we can click Continue to see the shelter results for the parameters that we have searched for. We're going to select all gender, walk-up availability, and ADA options. And we'll be greeted with shelter results. This one, we can go and click on Get More Information, but before we do, we see that there's an information about the number of beds available, as well as the last updated information date. So now we're greeted with the shelter specific information and the available accommodations and amenities. The user is now given the full details of the shelter's offerings, including their address, phone number, and the available beds. Let's say that this user believes that this shelter fits their needs. We can continue by clicking Getting Directions. We use the Mapbox API integration, which allows us to provide the graphical location and mapping information to direct them towards the shelter they had selected, as well as showing them the surrounding businesses and the neighborhood. We can see on the top left where we can enter in any starting location. We see that the shelter on Northeast Everett Street is pre-selected. Let's do Smith Memorial, PSU, there we go. As you can see, the Mapbox API automatically guesses for you. Nothing too crazy, but in terms of this being also mobile friendly, it is nice and less cumbersome than full app options. And we can see that it has given us walking directions from SMSU of Portland State University, and it will give us step-by-step directions where we can click on individual steps of the route, and this way it's a lot easier if you're walking. In terms, it also has motor transportation routes, which also are going to differ in their route, as it picks different routes for more efficient routes. With walking, it takes 1 hour and 47 minutes. Driving, it takes 17 minutes. Cycling is kind of like the middle spot with a different route as well. As quick as that was, we can see a lot of good information without seeing too much of any unnecessary information or anything that might not be of interest. Unless we zoom in very closely, we will not be able to see any of the major downtown swath of restaurants and things like that. And we also specifically have the Mapbox API implemented with the color scheme of the Portland Aid Guide itself as the website, to also aid in the immersion as well as to keep our website number one, friendly for our users, for all users of all, as an all-inclusive mobile experience, as well as this currently being a full desktop demo. We have tested throughout our development with different mobile environments with our QR team, and made sure that we have a mobile-friendly website for all those that may need a shelter in Portland. Thank you for watching this quick demonstration of the Portland Aid Guide project for the summer to fall 2022 cycle. My name is Dan, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching.
An overview of the Portland Aid Guide is as follows. The Portland Aid Guide was created to help reduce friction between vulnerable communities and the resources available to them. Persons seeking shelter will be able to quickly find and navigate to the closest shelter that meets their unique needs. Our audience consists of all those that may need shelters in Portland metropolitan area. Thus, Portland Aid Guide was designed to be fully usable with little to no prerequisite tech knowledge in mind. The main features of Portland Aid Guide are an intuitive, easy-to-use, and mobile-friendly user interface, a unique database for ease of access, data management based on a custom back-end API implementation of Google Sheets, and lastly, a location and mapping API integration for providing critical geographical data that drives our fluid navigational user interface. The location and mapping tool, a Mapbox API, was implemented into Portland Aid Guide's Laravel framework via its powerful built-in Blade templating engine. Through the Mapbox API, Portland Aid Guide is able to provide location-based queries, directional guidance, and vital geographical data to its users.
If we had more time to work on this project, we would like to have implemented these future development plans. Primarily, we would like to have data and analytics for the shelters to be able to reference and be able to generate daily usage statistics. This would ideally be automated and provide some graphics to show when the busy hours would be versus when the slow hours would be. And potentially this kind of information could be displayed to the users so that they could better ascertain when would be a good time to visit a shelter to receive specific aid. Additionally, we would have liked to have added additional service support, allowing shelters to offer other services like haircuts, food drives, and technology access. Finally, we would have liked to have introduced caching into our website, improving the overall load times, and eliminating any potential rate limiting problems with Google Sheets API.
To create a robust interface, our team utilized a mixture of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This was mainly achieved through libraries provided by the bootstrapped front-end framework. A small amount of custom CSS allowed us to provide the site with unique colors, fonts, and borders. The site architecture is powered by the Laravel framework for web development. Our team's previous Laravel experience allowed us to quickly throttle the project into motion. This framework additionally features a custom integration of the Google Sheets API. Rather than a database, the sponsor requested the use of a universal Google form. Laravel is composed of PHP and JavaScript for back-end web development. Laravel 8 uses PHP version 8.0 or greater. As mentioned previously, front-end development is achieved via HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
In the earliest days of the project, we began wireframing and prototyping with Figma, creating mock-ups of how we envisioned the site. This allowed us to open early dialogues with the sponsor, making iterative changes to the design to reach a consensus. The adoption of this tool allowed us to begin work on the actual project with a very clear goal. The early wireframes were a guiding light throughout the development. As the requirements became clear and basic work could begin, we determined that a project like this one would benefit from an agile development process. We had several team members with some experience developing similar projects and were able to pull together knowledge of a development process that provided enough rigidity to keep our project on schedule while remaining flexible to change. We adhered to a basic agile methodology that began with identifying epics from the requirements, and then we allowed team members to pick stories out of those epics that matched both their skill set and personal interests. To track progress and avoid duplication of work, we created a ticketing system using Jira Kanban boards. Our use of Jira was paired inextricably with our Git process. Using branching strategies and code review practices pulled from industry, we managed to avoid merging any breaking changes to our release branches and ensured a stable configuration existed and was ready to deploy at all times. Regarding deployment, we were somewhat limited by the lack of domain. To overcome this challenge and provide a live site, we served the project via an Apache web server located on an AWS Lightsail cloud compute instance. Although currently unused, we also containerized the project, setting up Docker images for rapid deployment.
In this project, we learned a lot about web development, for example, how to connect to the web with Google API and Map API. At first, we put the database on the Google Excel and update it to the website. We also spent some time moving Google Excel to the MongoDB. We then tested using MongoDB to trigger Google Sheet. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to comment to these new features, but it may help future development. We have got a lot of experience with teamwork through weekly meeting and one-by-one meeting. We improve our communication skills, problem solving, and plan and organization skills. If we could do it all over, we may spend more time on the login system and move the database to the MongoDB earlier with the permission of the sponsor.
Due to unexpected events, we were unable to implement certain features that we had planned for. The map page has a feature that is able to get a user's current location when a button is clicked. The feature works great when hosted locally, but because the website is currently an HTTP site and not an HTTPS site, meaning it does not have an SSL certificate, it is blocked from fetching location data from the user. However, it is also possible to get the current location by typing it in the search box, so the feature is not mandatory to generate directions to a shelter.
Customer feedback. The sponsor is very happy for what we have put together, and they are excited to see the end product. They believe that this product is solving a unique problem, and they are planning to use this as a demo to onboard other homeless shelter houses in the region. Currently, there are no such a tool available locally, so they are anticipating that this will improve the bed space management for all shelters in Portland area.
We want to extend our thanks to our wonderful sponsors at the Blanchet House for their continued collaboration throughout these last 2 terms, and to Dr. Bruce Irvin for his steadfast guidance throughout our capstone. Hopefully, through our work and development on the Portland Aid Guide project, shelters in the Portland metropolitan area may have access to a tool that may enable them to better serve those in need in our local communities.